Okay, please tell me what was the last point you got. And I will use that time and drink something. Okay. Um. Perfectly fine. Okay. Priest says the last part we got was the image size. So we will continue with our map options, which gives us 2 map layers per world, which is way enough. We don't need any more. We don't want to have a world map which links into a different layer with the continent map and so on, but we will have different maps. So the layer problem is not our problem right now. We have BB code formatting, we have a mention system, article blocks, dice roller, embedding 360-degree images. Perfectly fine. We have the basic formatting things, which we will need. We have the world table of content, article TOC, and the Discord widget. Also fine. We have the dynamic search of Artemis, the tagging system, which will be pretty helpful. We have the interface modes, text editors, and the user profile. Then we have optional features up here. Which one of these you get depends on which of the features you activate. For our project, we will need the world building features to create worlds, article templates, and so on. The RPG features, because I will, of course, create an example campaign. I don't need the writing features right now. As you can see, it won't give me anything. I don't need heroes, but I will need the community features. So this will give me pretty much room to play with. And let's start create the account. I will just switch over to the talking screen while I filled this out, and yeah, we'll be back to that window then. So I just sent in and created my account, and this is the window where we will get then. Let's set up the account. I like the villains theme. It's pretty. No villains, no Terraform the Deep for me. I need world building, RPG character manager. I don't need that. Novel writing software. I don't get it. But I will have not safe for work content. I will work within the world of darkness, and this is where I have to go then. Accessibility and usability features. Well done. I want to have the Euclid editor because of BB code highlighting. and I just don't like the what you see is what you get. And create your worlds. We will give it a name, choose the RPG settings. Down there we will take the second edition. Of course, and we will have Pathfinder first edition. To what is this all about? Just one sentence, no BB code needed. Save and proceed. Okay, of course you will get this advertising, but it is perfectly fine. Just close it and that's it. This is our dashboard, the absolute starting screen of World Anvil, where we will create our articles. So right now, let's go to View and have a look how our world looks right now. It has some advertising up here, usually. Doesn't seem to work right now. And this is the standard World Anvil theme, which we can't change up while we are Freeman here. As well, we can't remove that line up here, which I can do with Inner Sanctum tier with my main account, but that's perfectly fine. It's not a problem at all. But we are not done with our thingies. I have to change up some things. At least right now, I will switch up the language to English. So you can follow me around. With German you would have certain problems. Okay, we will go to Settings and Tools here, click on that and go to Configuration. Here we will have our stuff we entered right in the beginning, which is Mirror Fang Finder. It has this little sentence up here. It has a privacy state, which we can't change as a Freeman. It is always public, but that's perfectly fine. In the advanced, we can change up the language of our content. And we can select our genres, which we will do right now. And vampire usually is some kind of gothic, horror, and do we have something like that? No, we don't have. Please remind me that I should ask Dimitris if he could add some gothic punk, which is the official vampire genre. I would like to use that. Paranormal and, of course, urban fantasy. We should add adult and maybe fantasy, urban, and supernatural. You can use up to 5 tags, which will appear whenever somebody looks at your world. And we will have some tagging going on, which will be Vampire the Requiem, Chronicles of Darkness, and Vampire D20, which is what it will become somehow. I have only one world, so I don't need to adjust this display weight, but this is where you can change how high in your profile the world is shown. So if you want to have a main world and you have some worlds branching off of this, in my main account, my main world is Ascadia, which is my private professional website, and the actual worlds like Andravin, Caluria, and the World of Darkness are below that. So this is adjusted here in profile display weight. The higher the number, the higher the world will appear in the list. We don't have display options available. We don't have placements, no custom content, no SEO. But we have date and time settings, and I think I will just start at January 1st, 2000. Which I will also add here. That sets the UTC where my timelines will refer to. And we are in CE and BC. And it's a pretty long time ago that I created a new world. We don't have display options, we don't have styling options, but we have social options with our Patreon, Twitter. We can have our stream here. And I will add a Discord invite link as soon as I created one. Give me a second. There we are. And save changes. Just to show you, we have no monetization options. This is Sage only. And I know that many people think that Sage is a waste of money. I thought about, would I use Sage when it came out? And I have to admit that before Sage, or before World Anvil, I used Microsoft Office for organization with OneNote. I wrote my text in Papyrus, and I made my graphics in Photoshop. I made my maps with a different tool, and so on and so forth. Most of these tools are gone since I use World Anvil. And for me, the Sage tier with around $25 a month saved me so much money. So if you want to monetize your work, Sage is a steal. It's just a steal. So, saving again. And we have to do some cover image right after streaming or so. I will do one until next stream. So this is our world so far, there shouldn't be any changes right now. Well, you can see I have a Patreon button here. I have my tweets, you have the Twitch and Discord down here. Perfectly fine. People who like the site can just go and join the Discord, watch me on stream, follow me on Twitter, do anything they need to or want to. This is where we are right now. What we will do next is I will create timelines. You have that video up here which gives you a little overview and a short introduction to maps. Janet made it. These videos are awesome. If you don't know anything like that, just watch. Before we can create our timeline, we have to create a calendar. And I will do that here. Just create the main calendar. Yeah, and writing has to be learned. I'm awful today. Save the changes, main calendar, done. When you join the guild, or if you do so, you will have different calendars, which are pretty awesome, and Adamon made them. These are just so much fun, and they are a hell to design. But this will come later on when we reach the limits of our Freeman tier. So now we will create one master timeline. And I will give it a normal. With the main calendar, perfectly fine. And I will hide it away if I could, but I can't. So it has to stay there, it has to stay public. But this is the timeline where every event of the world should be in. The second timeline is the campaign timeline. The campaign timeline for me is all about the last 15 years. It will hold events which are plot relevant and which happened within the last 15 years before my actual date. Of course, as the time moves on, this timeline will grow. But this is what players should know when they start playing in my campaign. Oh, thank you so much. I'm most of the time I'm not sure if I'm a good DM, and as priest, I'm doubting that all the time. Okay, right now we have our two timelines, which is pure preparation work. We don't fill anything in right now. We just do our basics, which means we have a calendar, we have our master timeline, which will hold all the events. We will have our start timeline for the campaign. And this is everything. We will not do anything more right now. At least not here. The next thing we will do is create the campaign. So we will call this Fall of the Prince. It will be Chronicles of Darkness 2nd edition. It is of course public. I don't want to add any image right now because I will create some images later on. It is full right now. We will display it. Here we will add just this little catchy headline, and this is meant to lead people and especially lead your players to click on it. Think about magazine titles. Barbarossa, you can't do anything more than try your best. There will always be days and nights when you think that you're the worst DM in the world. Everyone has this time and these days and nights. If you don't have it, then you're a bad DM, because that means that you don't think about what you do. You don't think about your players' reactions, you don't think about where you want to go. You don't reflect what you do. And reflection is something every player must have, and every DM must have. This is one of the most underestimated abilities, in my opinion. Okay, we will have a longer version of our description. Just a little nonsense paragraph, okay. I could actually make a campaign out of this. So just save it, and this is your basic campaign interface. This is where you will start once you created the campaign for your world and linked it. And to show you the front end right now, as you can see, you have this little window here. You can't make it go away while you are Freeman. but this is the campaign linked to your world. You can view it, you can edit it from here. Perfectly fine. Once we define the header image, it will appear in the background. It has the name, it has the game system. Okay, thank you. And this is where we are right now. And this was 5 minutes of work to come to a world. Yes, it was. The problem is Twitch is in German and I can't change the language. So I don't know what it did to the emotes. But I will change the names manually if I have to. Everything's alright. Okay, we are back in the back end right now. This is the campaign interface, the campaign management interface. There are protagonists, which are mainly our player characters. We have some invitation code, which you can send to your players. But there's another way. And just to start off and show you how you can create PCs the other way around, we are going to support cast. These are the main NPC we want to have. And now let's create one by clicking on the big yellow button here. And I know she will be Rian. Just a little sentences about her. Hey Bird, how are you? Okay. Oh, how are you ill, Bird? Oi. Ay, ay, ay. Sniffles is mostly annoying. It's not bad, it's just annoying. Wish you a nice evening. Take care of yourself. Don't underestimate the sniffles. Okay, I don't want to have any. Just a little secret storytelling notes here. And she will be an ally of the party. She is visible, of course. And we don't have any articles created, so we can't link anything. We don't have a location yet where she can be. We don't have a character sheet. And she does have a title because she's the herald of the city. She's currently in the city. Save changes. Good to go. So, as you can see, I obviously didn't assign any character portrait yet. But I wanted to show you that you can make her play a character. To do so, we will edit her. And if you are a guild member, you will have the possibility here to change an NPC to a PC. Of course, as a Freeman, you can't do that. Your players have to create their own characters, and you have to invite them. So right now we have our supporting cast, where with our first NPC you can create parties for your player characters here. So if you have, for example, in my other Pathfinder campaign starting in December, I will have 2 groups. 2 parties within the same campaign and the same plotline. So I will just create parties for them and I will have them in that party. I can name them, short description, add the characters, and done. This will become pretty handy later on. This is where your plot lines you assigned to the campaign will show up. And they will show up nested. So if you have, for example, a plot line for the whole campaign, and then you will add different plot lines for every adventure, these will show up under the main plot line for the whole campaign, which is perfect for planning and preparing. I like that pretty much. Usually I have my campaign plotline, then I have my stage plotlines, which is just like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And under that I will have my adventure plotlines. The sessions is the most important part if you play online and use Anvil as a virtual storyteller screen, which I do pretty much. There you can prepare your sessions and provide a Discord link or a stream link if you use Stream with that. So yes. The campaign primer is also pretty important. This is a selection of the lore of your world your players and the player characters know about. You can add articles you created via the green plus sign here to the primer articles, and these will show up within your campaign screen here under lore articles. So if you have a special article about the character creation, link it within the lore articles because your players will need it. You can always remove it when the character creation is done and session 0 is over. But lore about the city they are in, lore about major NPCs they met, these are always things belonging there, in my opinion. As always, it's just my opinion, and things can change up pretty easy. Under settings, this is what we created in the beginning. We can link our Twitch here, virtual tabletop if we use one. I don't. When I have campaign online, I use only World Anvil. But what we will do is we will assign the campaign timeline to the campaign. There you can have the real life starting date, ending date. Access is, of course, guild members only, so save the changes, and we are done with the basic campaign setup. And then back to world and articles and categories, because I want to show you something. As you can see, I created my first NPC and linked it to the campaign. And World Anvil automatically created an article for her. And this article, as you can see here, has all the information I entered within the NPC stuff. So I can just go and click the little icon here, edit article, and work my way from there. As you've seen, World Anvil has pretty much with every template and every section of the website, it has some explanation videos, so it's pretty easy to get started once you got your starting point. Okay, this is the basic article template for a character in this case. And I have to hydrate, and when I'm done with that, I will explain. So, this is the major character article template. We have the vignette here, which will show up at the very top of an article. Sleep well, Shawan. See you next time. Thank you for being here. I will, probably. I will create just a little paragraph about her. No need to go further on that. And this is like and as you can see here, I created a link to an article that does not exist yet. I'm not sure if I can do that as a Freeman, but we will have a look. Maybe I can. I hope so. The other method is I can go down here, quick content creation, and just give this a little settlement article. So I will just make the important parts bold. And this is perfectly fine for a stop. No need to do anything more. Create that article and I will have a text link to put that in. here. Just make that small again. This is enough information so that your characters within the campaign know what they see when they approach her. So I will save the changes and we'll have a look at the article right now. So we will have our article here, we have linked content, and that's it. We have some advertising down here, which is, in my opinion, because you have basically the same features I usually have as an Inner Sanctum member to create your articles, except from styling them and have all that fancy stuff. But the very basic functionality of World Anvil is there for $0 a month. You can use it for free. So this is pretty awesome. And just to make that article a little more fleshed out, let's go down here. Well, for her species, I will just create the vampire article. I will give her a birth date, which is the 18th May 1923. I will give her a birth year, which will allow me to see her age. So I don't fill that in because it would override the auto-calculated age. She has dark, narrow eyes, a pale white skin. She has a shoulder long jet black hair. And since she's pretty tall, I would say she's 1.80 meters tall. But she's pretty slender, so she will weigh about 55 kilograms. She is female. I don't create any ethnicity right now. Current location. Don't have any here right now. She's not in any prose article yet. So let's save this again. Demetrius added autosave, but it's just I'm used to save it at everything. She has her honorific title of Herald. Her name is Rian, and I called her Lawrence. Saving again. And you don't need to fill everything in because it won't show up if you don't fill it in, and that's pretty much what your characters should know about her right now. You have a short impression about how she looks, how she's called. Her alignment isn't written on her forehead in neon colors, so I don't fill that in. You don't know what she likes, what she dislikes right now. It's just the basic information you know. What I fill in is the affiliated organization, which will be her clan. I do alignments, but if I have an NPC for a campaign, I don't add that because you can't see it when you approach her. And the best way to prevent meta play is to hide away the meta information from your players. So as long as they don't have any really good hints about the alignment of an NPC, I will not fill that in besides the Game Master section in the upper part. Because players are players. They want to have fun, but sometimes they don't think so much and they will use every bit of information you give them. So you have to be really careful with how much information you give out to your players. So that's it. We have an article which is perfectly fine for now. It will, of course, evolve over the time. There will be played sessions and you will add. When your players learn new things, well, I generally like the alignment approach, but not as a fixed character statistics. I like switching alignments. So if a lawful good character goes out there and starts killing things and people, thank you. Just stretching a little bit, and my back will thank it. If a lawful good character starts randomly killing things because of which race they are from, then this character's not lawful good anymore. Not with me as a DM. I'm pretty strict with that. If you act like an asshole, you will get an asshole alignment. But as I said, I will not have alignment of NPC visible to the players. They will start and use it, and they will use it in a way like, hey, I can do that to her because she is lawful good and she will not react to that. And because sadly it's illegal to slap your players around, just don't give them any possibility to do so. Okay. As you can see here right now, which is, of course, the article and categories overview, we have a bunch of articles and 2 of them are created as a draft, which is Ventru as a clan. I like to create the clans as organizations, because let's be honest, they are not an ethnicity, and the species is still vampire. If it's Toreador or if it's Ventru, it's, well. So organization is, for me, the best way to approach that. The Nuremberg settlement is there, the species is there, and the organization is there, and now we will start organizing things. And I will do that by simply writing the names of the categories here, which will be characters. Hit the plus sign, mark that, and set that little check mark here. And now I will add the category NPC. And when I go back here to recent articles, I can just grab her and put her into that category. I will have a category races. Remove that checkmark before you do it, or you will have it somewhere down there. And there we will have the vampire. And within the vampire, I will give it... do we have the additional options? No. Okay. Let's have the vampire article, a sub-article with Ventru. That way, I save myself an additional layer of categories, but will have, let me see if I can show it to you. I should be able to, because it's my world, so I can. We have the races here, and we have nothing in there. Okay. Well then, let's start with giving the vampires just a little sentence here. Oh, I'm pretty flexible there. It's just, it has been a long time since I created a new world. And of course, for me, it's 2 years ago since I've been Freeman. So I have to fiddle my way around this, but I know World Anvil pretty much and pretty well. So I can't stand these, hey, we don't need that, and we don't have anything here and there, and we can't do that. While I know that you have all the basic features even as a Freeman, and you can do that. Okay, and we have the Ventru. Save changes. Yeah, that's because Rig has some shortcuts, and when I hit that the specific button, it will start to do stuff. So as you can see, you have the main race here, but if you click on it, you will have down here Ventru, and you can go up there or click back up to Vampire. And this is the way how you navigate through World Anvil in general. You have articles under articles in categories, and this is the way you organize your world, no matter if you're Freeman or if you're in a Sanctum or Sage or any upper tier. We don't have any different organizational tools. We use the same things you use. So, what do we have right now? Let's have a little check-up. We have our 2 timelines, which we created. And we have our simple calendar, nothing fancy, just month. Perfectly fine. We have our role-playing systems assigned. We created a basic campaign to use within the world. And we have our first couple of articles. Each is just a sentence long. And this will evolve over time. But I didn't miss anything right now. Of course, I can't style my world, which I love to do, but this will come later on when I just hit the borders and the boundaries and limits of the Freeman tier, which will, to be honest, this will take a while. So now let's have a look at the advanced edit of a category. We'll have our basic details here, name, excerpt. Usually when I think about how the world was created, so when I write up the creation myth, I will start with deities. Or if I start with a culture, I will create the deities this culture has. There is no need to create a pantheon if you don't have any need to do so. There are several approaches to world building. And there are... Okay, let's be honest, I won't do anything with that here. I will switch back to my talking screen and then we can talk. Okay, deities. The Pantheon is a thing that is pretty difficult. Some people like to start with that, and that's